I would say I would be in favour of it if, at a later stage, give it, say, I don't know, how long does it take our government to do anything? In 50 years' time, when we have...
250 years?
Yeah.
When we have politics taught, so if we were able to study politics, which seems to not be a government push, so that all our tamariki, and including myself, never grew up studying what governments around the world actually do, how they operate, and how we as citizens can implement and influence things. Until that happens, I feel like we need an older, more mature, and I'm saying it's only 2 years, but at least a deeper understanding. You've experienced more between 16 to 18 than you did maybe between 14 and 16.
Definitely.
Because you're becoming an adult, you're sneaking out, going to town, so you're learning a bit more about adulthood. You're maybe getting involved in more discussions. You're going out to balls, sort of formal evenings. And you're sort of at the age where you can now travel on sporting events and do lots of cool stuff at the school age.
Between 16 and 18.
Between 16 and 18.
Okay.
So there's a lot of like life learning in there. I feel like the current state we're in Aotearoa is that no one at that age knows what they're doing. And it would literally become a popularity, who looks nicest.
How's that any different to like adults voting?
I would say that maybe by the time you're 18, you've lived through a bit more of a government. Maybe you've had a job, a bit more work experience. You understand pay, superannuation, pay equity and pay rises. You understand how that works with minimum wage and changing. You at least have a bit more experience in the adult world to start having a say. But again, I'm not saying that I'm not saying I think it's the worst idea ever. I think if you had a year 7 political studies, and then maybe in year 9 there's a political unit, and then everyone has to do NCA level 1 with, just...
That would be incredible.
They need literacy and numeracy. They should also have, like, I don't know, nationality or patriotism course where you learn about a government, how it works and what we currently have here, and maybe you learn about the opposition. You have to study what your parents don't support as an activity. And that way I feel like you'd be more informed as you go. Yeah, bring it to 16 because we now know a bit more. There we go.
Yep.
Contentious statement laid out.
The
Respond.
amount of people that I do know, even my age still, who vote Labour or National because that's...
Loyalists.
Yeah, loyalists because that's what their families always did. We're Labour supporters, we're National supporters.
Yeah.
Don't actually do the research, don't give a shit. But then also the likes of like small policies and snippets that they hear coming out on social media because people don't watch the news anymore, So, and they're not. They don't believe in the. They don't. They don't trust the media anymore. So, I kind of get it, but I do think like our youth, they're our future, and I do agree with you, Fabian. Like, you're right. Like, yeah, we should be teaching them political studies in year 7 and year 9 and year, NCA level 1 and all those sorts of things. Like, this is what makes me mad about our education system is that we're still teaching the same way we were 150 years ago. And that's not relevant to today's society. Like,
I'll push back on that a little bit. It's not entirely relevant.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool.
I do get your point about having a bit of life experience, but I also, the stats are that people don't actually start voting until they're in their 20s anyway. But I think that if you start paying taxes at 16 and you are in a vulnerable position of being exploited, I was when I first started working at 14, not saying that I should have been able to vote at 14, but if I had been paid what I was being paid at 14, at 16, I probably would have been more, and was able to vote, I probably would have been more motivated to learn about policies and learn more about how I could use my vote to change policies in the system and stuff. And I just feel like I think we undervalue and underestimate the capacity of young people. Like you said earlier, something's a bit buzzy.
That's my phone. My apologies.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I suppose turn the data off. It cuts into the
I have
mics.
a couple of comments that I'd love to throw into this because apparently some of them are relevant. Is that the top one there?
Absolutely, let's
Taylor? Go. Thank you, Teo Wolf Stormhawk. Jeez, come on. Teo Wolf says, make it a shirt. That's probably relevant to something earlier. Let's just pretend it's relevant. Hey, well done, Taya Hawk. Leonardo Gabato Magri, I miss you all. Red love heart.
Oh, red love heart to you too.
Thank you, Leo. From Matt Cook. He listens a lot, comments a lot, Matt Cook. Love Matt. Highbrow stuff. Lol. Love the cake race. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. That's,
You're welcome.
Very good, very good. We have I am into ASMR. Thanks, Elvisa. : close bracket. It's a smiley face, I think.
Oh, yay.
Matt Cook. I'm not from New Zealand, but if you can work and be forced to pay tax at 16, then why shouldn't you be able to have a say?
Thank
Oh,
you.
we're going to hold that, Matt
Thank
Cook.
you.
All right, lovely point.
Yeah, and you have access, 16-year-olds have access to so much more information. When I was standing for regional council the first time when I did get in, this time I didn't get in, an older man, like in his 80s probably, came up to me after a panel event where us candidates would come together and discuss different issues and why we believe in certain things. And he said to me, I believe that young people these days are so much more intelligent than we ever were at their age. And I was like, thank you for like expressing that and identifying that generations are different now to what they were before. They had different priorities in life. They had different opportunities in life. And young people today have access to, these bloody encyclopedias in their hands. I think there is a good point around media and political education. There needs to be a way faster integration of that type of education in our systems. Because I have come across, I was an environmental educator, so I took kids snorkeling and connecting them with nature and stuff, and that was my thing.
Beautiful.
As an educator, and it was very rewarding. But now I'm in the policy side of things where I'm using my experiences and my knowledge to help influence policy and also help connect the wider communities with their indigenous species and things like that.
Can I throw a spanner in there? So if you're paying taxes, you should be able to vote, etc., etc. Could we make, I don't know, I say it as if I understand anything to do with politics. If you are 16 and employed working 0.3 FTE or something, you're working minimum of, 10 hours a week, and you have an ID number and you're paying taxes, is that like, oh yes, you are mature enough at 16, you are a part of this economy, should that make you eligible if you're able to be employed, or are we then discriminating against people that live in communities where there's not employment easily available for kids? Maybe I'm putting myself in a rabbit hole.